What are the evidences of evolution? Evidences of evolution have demonstrated evidences of evolution have demonstrated and verified the occurrence of evolution and provided a wealth of information on the natural processes by which the variety and the diversity of life on earth developed. In support of evolution, important evidences are the paleontological evidences. Evidences from comparative anatomy and the morphology, embryological evidences, and the natural selection. Paleontological evidences. Evidence that evolution of life forms has indeed taken place on Earth has come from many quarters. Fossils are remains of hard parts of the life forms found in rocks. Rocks from the sediments and a cross section of the earth crust indicates the arrangement of these sediments one over the other during the long history of Earth. Different age rock sediments contain fossils of the different life forms with who probably died during the formation of particular sediment. A study of fossils in the different sedimentary layers indicates the geological period in which they existed. The study showed that life forms vary over time and certain life forms are restricted to certain geological time spans. There is a geological succession of the fossils from earliest to the recent rocks. Different classes of the vertebrates appear chronologically in the fossil records. Fossil fishes predate all over all other vertebrates with amphibians next, followed by the reptiles and then birds and mammals. Geological time is a chronological order or history of evolution based upon the study of fossil. It has been divided into eras, periods, and the epochs. The fossil study have given evidence of several mass extinctions. Mass extinction is death and disappearance of large groups of plants and animals over a short span of time. It might be due to crash of a meteor or comet with Earth or due to drifting, collapsing, and the breaking apart of the continents. Eras, periods, and evidence from comparative anatomy and morphology. Comparative anatomy and the morphology shows similarities and differences among organisms of the today and those that existed years ago. Such similarities can be interpreted to understand whether common ancestors were shared or not. First is the homology. Homology is a similarity between organs of different animals based on common ancestry or the common embryonic origin and built on the same fundamental pattern, but perform varied functions and have different appearance. For example, whales, bats, cheetah, and the human share similarities in the patterns of the bone of forelimbs. Though these forelimbs perform different functions in these animals, but they have similar anatomical structure. All of them have humerus, radius, ulna, carpals, metacarpals, phalanges in the forelimbs. In these animals, the same structure developed along different direction due to adaptations to different needs. This is divergent evolution or adaptive radiation. Or adaptive radiation. And these structures are the homologous. Homology indicates common ancestry. We have analogy. Organs which are different in their basic structure and development origin but appear similar and perform similar functions are analogous organ. This relationship between the organs of different groups of animals of separate lineage due to the similar function is called the analogy or the convergent evolution or adaptive convergence. Example, wings of butterfly and birds of look alike but they are anatomically similar structures though they perform similar functions. Hence they are analogous structures. Other example of analogy are the eye of the octopus and of mammals and the flippers of penguin. Penguins and dolphins. Sweet potato and potato is another example for analogy. Similarities in proteins and genes performing a given function among diverse organisms give clues to common ancestry. These biochemical similarities point to the same shared ancestry as structural similarities among diverse organisms. The living organism having the characters of the two different taxonomic categories are called the connecting links. Example, Protopterus, lungfish is the connecting link between the horny fish and bony fish and amphibians. Phenodon is a primitive reptile with amphibian characters. The organs which are present in the reduced form and do not perform any function in the body but correspond to the fully developed functional organs of the related animals are called the vestigial organs. Example, nichidating membrane in the humans. Atavism is the reappearance or the refunctioning of the some ancestral organs which have either completely disappeared or are present as the vestigial organs. Example, development of the power of moving pinna in some persons. Evidences from embryology. The aspect of embryology which support the doctrine of the organic evolution are the homology in early embryonic development, homology in the embryos, recapitulation, retrogressive metamorphosis, and the neoteny. Recapitulation, retrogressive metamorphosis, and neoteny. Homology in early embryonic development. All the multicellular organisms exhibit a common pattern of development. Their development starts from an unicellular fertilized egg or zygote. The fertilized egg, after repeated cell division, forms a blastula, which finally develops into a two-layered gastrula. The outer layer of gastrula represents the future ectoderm and inner one future endoderm. Homology in the embryos. The early embryos in all the vertebrates exhibit remarkable similarity, and it is not easy to differentiate a human embryo from the embryo of chick, lizard, frog, or fish in early stages. Recapitulation theory or the biogenetic law, that is, the Haeckel formulated the recapitulation theory or the biogenetic law. It says ontogeny recapitulates phylogeny. Ontogeny recapitulates phylogeny. That is, life history recapitulates evolutionary history. Evolutionary history. Retrogressive metamorphosis. The Ascidian tadpole is free swimming and possesses all the three chordate characters. During metamorphosis, it loses all the chordate features like the notochord, nerve cord, and the myotomes. This is called the retrogressive metamorphosis. Lava has helped in determining its chordate nature. Neoteny refers to the retention of the larval or the embryonic traits in the adult body, that is, retention of the embryonic cartilaginous skeleton in adults in the chondriocytes and the larva gills in some adult salamanders. We have the natural selection. Industrial melanism is a striking example of the natural selection in the process of evolution. This was studied by the R.A. Fisher, E.B. Ford, H.B.D. Kettlewell. It is the appearance of dark melanic forms of some organism like the moss in the industrial regions where soot emission from the burning of coal has been heavy so as to color the background. Kettlewell 1958 has reported melanic forms of 70 species of moss from Britain and Europe. The best theory type is peppered moth, that is the Biston Betullaria. Industrial melanism can be written briefly as follow. The peppered moth exists in two strains, forms a light grey Biston Betullaria, typical creamy white and dark blotches and spots, and the Biston Betullaria carbonaria. Peppered moth, Biston, the Biston Betullaria. The melanic form is supposed to be mutated form that arose by mutation in a single gene determining coloration. In the past, barks of trees was covered by whitish lichens, so white moss escaped unnoticed from the predatory birds. After industrialization, barks got covered by smoke, so the white moss was selectively picked up by the birds. But black escaped unnoticed, so they managed to survive, resulting in the more population of black and less population of white. What is adaptive radiation? The process of evolution of the different species in a given geographical area, starting from a point and literally radiating to the other area of the geography, is called the adaptive. Darwin's finches of the Galapagos Islands represents one of the best examples of this phenomenon. Finches found on the different islands of the Galapagos had different types of modified breaks due to different feeding habits but had common ancestor. Common ancestral seed-eating ground finches radiated to different geographical areas and adapted different feeding habits, so developed different types of breaks. Australian marsupials, each different from the other, evolved from an ancestral stock. Marsupials. Stock, but all within the Australian island continent. When more than one adaptive radiation appeared to have occurred in an isolated geographical area representing different habitats, one can call this convergent evolution. For example, Australian marsupials and the placental mammals show convergent evolution. Example, placental wolf and the Zamanian wolf marsupial. When convergent evolution is found in closely related species, it is called the parallel evolution. Example, development of running habit in deer, two-toed and horse, one-toed with two vestigial splint bones.